Hello everyone, and in this video I will talk about the best strategies for world conquest in EU4. So, first of all, let's talk what makes a good world conquest. There are three simple criteria. The first one is boredom. How boring is it to do a world conquest? Say doing world conquest as own is pretty boring. It doesn't have any unique missions, it doesn't have any PUs, doesn't have any vessels. You have to conquer each province manually and slowly. Second important component of world conquest are resources. How much cash, mana, manpower, etc. does the nation have? Say it's pretty easy to do world conquest as Russia, because you have infinite manpower, but it's pretty difficult to do world conquest as Arabia, because you're poor and have zero manpower at all. And the most important component in this ranking is coin cost. It's possible to do world conquest as any nation in the world, but either coin cost reduction or vessel play might make world conquest last not a few centuries, but a few decades. This is the key to speedrunning world conquest: coin cost reduction, diplomatic annexation cost, or just playing with a lot of vessels. Mana is always a limited resource. You can't get more of mana. In any case, hope my criteria are clear. Now let's get started. Alright, so 10th position on our list is England. England starts in the richest trade node in the game, being the richest country in the game right from the start. It has insanely big mission tree, but most importantly, first of all, it's pretty easy to get Burgundian inheritance as England. Second of all, it's absolutely trivial to get France SPU as England. You literally get a special CB for this. Yes, I'm using cheats for this video, because I don't really have a save of unjoined England right now, so I'll just demonstrate like this. So it's possible and even easy to get France, making us already #1 great power in Europe right from the start pretty easily. Also remember, we can get whole Burgundy and Low Countries, and most importantly, once you form unjoined kingdom, you will get pretty good world conquest ideas, like procreation cost reduction, improved relations, national manpower, years of separatism, some governing capacity, which also satisfies our resources and technically core creation cost. And in addition, you get some pretty cool bonuses from your mission tree, like being able to release Spain and Italy SPU, which would let your Spanish and Italian PUs fight instead of you, and you can just play speed 5 and relax. So, why only 10th position? Because first of all, you don't get much of natural PUs, like say Castile or Austria, you only basically get one on France. And second of all, most of the bonuses are limited to Europe. Once you get out of Europe, you don't really have much unique missions, leaving you with only powerful modifiers and whole Europe as a strength. But overall, it's pretty solid choice. Next up in our top is Castile. Unlike England, Castile gets much more PUs, including Portugal, Aragon, Naples, Austria, technically Bohemia and Hungary, depending on your luck, and even England. Additionally, Castile also has pretty good bonuses from the missions, like minus 25% diplomatic annexation cost. If you stack diplomatic annexation cost, it's a very good alternative to core creation cost reduction, as you can just release vessels and instantly annex them for free. Additionally, Castile is in extremely good position to deal with France and Ottomans, knocking out almost all European great powers at once. And if it's not good enough, it's possible to form Italy as Castile. Not only possible, it's actually quite easy. And not only Italian ideas are better than Angevin, you also will get pretty extensive and powerful mission tree. In short, in my opinion, that's pretty much England, but better. And number 8 is Poland. Why Poland, you might ask? Why not Castile or Spain? Well, I would say Poland is very comparable to England and Spain, but Poland gets its PUs and bonuses much earlier, so you can snowball much faster. Additionally, it's possible to form both Russia, Italy, Bavaria, whatever you want as Poland. Doesn't really matter. You can form a few non-endgame tags, finish their missions, flip back to Commonwealth. You cannot, it's up to you. It has a lot of resources, it's extremely easy to play, as you have essentially a vessel swarm. The only problem is that Poland doesn't really get much of car creation cost reduction, but it's easily fixable by forming Italy or Russia. Otherwise, I would say Poland, England and Spain are very similar in their world conquest ease. I would recommend all three of them for the new players. And number 7 is Mughals. Yes, you probably waited for this. Well, that's not a perfect Mughals I have here. This is actually a Confucian Mughals. Well, this is not your usual Mughals run, but that's a pretty good example. So, Mughals. Why Mughals, you might ask? So, let's go point by point. First of all, boredom. Mughals have unique geometry form called Mughal Diwan. What it does is it automatically assimilates culture. Any cultures you conquer will be automatically accepted. So no unrest, no negative debuffs, it's pretty chill. Second of all, Mughals are pretty tolerant. This is not a great example because I'm playing as Confucian Mughals. If you're playing as Sunni Mughals, you get additional +3 torrents of heathens and a lot of torrents of heathens from your missions. Up to +2 additional torrents of heathens. This is a screenshot from my old video, and as you can see, it's not only possible, it's actually pretty easy to get up to 6 torrents of heathens as Mughals. What does it mean? It means you get almost no rebellions at all. And if you conquer whole culture group, you get some pretty insane bonuses, like corporation cost reduction, advisor cost, production efficiency, trade efficiency, some combat bonuses, and much more. Each culture group has some kind of unique bonus. Additionally, Mughals are positioned in a very good trade node and have a lot of cash, a lot of manpower, possibility to convert to Confucian and become the Emperor of China. And if you become an Emperor of China, you can get whole China for free, entirely for free. And of course, absolutely top tier government ideas. -25 for creation cost reduction. That's absolutely insane. That's of course in addition to other bonuses from assimilated cultures, giving Mughals the most modifiers in the entire game. Specifically in this game, for example, I already have -60% core creation cost reduction without even stacking it much. It's extremely easy to get it to 90%, making the world conquest extremely easy, as you can core provinces even before rebels show up. The only downside is that Mughals don't have any type of vessels or any type of PUs, so you have to wage wars manually. But as an upside, you don't have to deal with rebels at all, which is pretty tedious. Overall, Mughals is probably the best choice for first world conquest. It's pretty easy to form them, it's pretty easy to place them, and the only hard part about them is setting up trade. But once you set up the trade, it's pretty easy. It was an extremely difficult choice for position number 6, but ultimately I chose Austria. That's right. So, why Austria? Austria is the first nation in the list which relies on vassal swarm, so you don't have to manually conquer anything at all. You just go, declare, and vassal swarm takes care of war for you. That completely eliminates any world conquest boredom. Vassals will deal with your rebels, vassals will deal with your enemies. Perfect life. And next up are resources. Austria itself is not really rich, but it doesn't matter. You do get a lot of manpower, and you do get a lot of vessels, which will make your life extremely easy. There are only two problems that Austria can face. First one is foreign cost reduction. Austria technically isn't really good for this. The only mitigating factor that Austria has is that it can stack diplomatic annexation cost reduction. So you can just say conquer Muscovy, release vassals, and instantly annex them. That's the best thing that Austria can do. But technically you don't need a lot of corporation cost reduction. You can just wait until absolutism and slowly conquer the world. There is no rush. And second problem as Austria is that you need to revoke HRE. While it's pretty easy for good players, it is not so easy for beginners. Here for example I revoked HRE and have almost all Europe in it. It is possible, but I wouldn't say it's extremely easy. Overall, Austria is a pretty solid choice. It already starts as Emperor of HRE, it's pretty easy to remain as Emperor of HRE. You get Burgundy, you get Poland, you get Hungary, you get Bohemia as PU. You can easily dismantle Ottomans right from the start. You can dismantle France, you can get Castile as PU. Pretty much there are no limits. As soon as you start as Austria, you already won the game. It's a really good nation for world conquest. And position number 5. As you can see, this is not your average world conquest top. This is already starting to get yummy. Ottomans. So, I think usually Ottomans are below Austria in rankings, but not in my video. So, we have 3 criteria, let's assess how Ottomans fit them. So first of all, boredom. Ottomans have their own vassal swarm, called ayalets. I'll ignore this for now. Here we go, ayalets. Ayalets can be cooler, which means they would pay you a lot of cash, and they would give you a lot of manpower, right? Here we go, for example, we get 36 ducats from ayalets. But they won't join your wars. Or you can make them your regular ayalets, and they will join your wars. So technically a vassal swarm. And technically, once again, you don't really have to fight a lot. And even if you have to, you can just hire some mercenary companies and, you know, just assault force. It's pretty easy, and it's pretty relaxing. You also don't have to worry about rebels, because you can just release ayalets. The only downside is that it is a little bit difficult to fabricate claims. It's a bit tricky. Once you get imperialism, it will go away, but before that you need to somehow like make some kind of a snake of your own land, so you can fabricate claims on others. Additionally, Ottomans get some free ayalets like Mamluks, Tunis, Hungary. It's actually even possible to get Poland as ayalet, technically. It is possible to get Burgundian inheritance as Ottomans, and overall it's pretty easy to build your own vassal swarm. So it's pretty chill run, it will be almost zero frustration. Second, let's talk about resources. Ottomans start the game as the most powerful nation by far. it's extremely difficult to lose as Ottomans. Not easy to win, it's difficult to lose. You really need to try. You get insane amount of cash from your ALEs, you get early cannons, you get insane amount of manpower, you get insane amount of force limit, and overall you have almost unlimited resources. And now let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, it's Ottomans as HRE Emperor, revoked in 1487 with 124k ducats in bank. It's from one of my videos, and yes, Ottomans have a lot of exploits. Ottomans are easily one of the easiest nations to exploit. You literally have to try to lose with this setup. It's almost impossible. That's why I put it above Austria. It's like Austria, but it's better. So technically we have Vassal Swarm, right? We have a lot of cash, a lot of manpower, and that brings us to third point, Corin Cost. Corin Cost for Ottomans, first of all, if we want to, we can. We have a -25 core creation cost reduction, pretty easy to stack it as Ottomans. But the biggest benefit of Ottomans is that you don't have to core anything. Just go to Diplomacy, release, let's say Serbia, promote to Oirat, reign in Oirat, boom, done. No coring cost at all. Just release nations, make them ALEs, you're all set up. Absolutely easy, absolutely trivial. Even without it becoming HRE Emperor, it's extremely easy to conquer the world. So, why is this OP nation is only number 5 and not number 1? So, first of all, ALEs do give you a lot of cash, they give you a lot of manpower, but they don't join your wars. And becoming HRE Emperor, well, it's possible as you can see, but it's definitely not for beginners. I'm just highlighting that it's possible and relatively easy if you know what you're doing. Now, it's possible to make ALEs join your wars, but only non-core ALEs. So let me show. So if we release, say, Aydin, we make it our ALEs, we can call it into our wars. So let me show you. So here we go. If we scroll, as you can see, it behaves like your regular ally. You can just pull it in. The problem is, first of all, it can be pieced out separately. Second of all, if you release a lot of regular ALEs, they get a lot of Liberty Desire. Unlike core ALEs, their Liberty Desire is stacking together, like regular Vassal. That's the biggest problem with them. And third issue is that without exploits, without anything, well, technically Ottomans are very easy, but they're not game-breaking easy. If you know what you're doing, it's pretty easy to do very quick world conquest. If you don't know what you're doing, it's still pretty easy to do world conquest, but what I have for the next positions is even more overpowered. Overall, Ottomans are a great choice, but not the best. And number 4. Well, this one is a bit esoteric, but essentially this is an Indian horde. If you wish, you can take a look for more details on my channel about this. I'll link the video somewhere right here. But essentially we start as Jaunpur, we go into Tibet and form Tibetan horde. So why is it higher than Ottomans? Let's take a look. So I'm going to say it honestly, all hordes are pretty boring. There are no exceptions. But all of boredom is getting overshadowed by one fact. Both this horde and the next one are extremely boring to play. Extremely boring. I won't lie, you will get a lot of rebels. Actually, if you pair humanist ideas and horde ideas, it will be fine. You won't get as much rebels. I'm also Hindu here, so it also helps. As you can see, well, it's relatively chill here. But compared to other nations, it's not hassle-free. You need to put in some effort. It's more on a level of Castile, England, and Poland. So why is it so high? Raising. One word. Raising. You can raise. This will give you an insane amount of mana. So first of all, raising gives you mana. Second of all, raising makes provinces cheaper to core, so you can conquer more provinces at once. Additionally, hordes have a lot of very easy CBs, like Tribal Conquest, Tribal Feud, etc. You can declare on pretty much anyone at any moment. The problem with hordes is that they're always extremely poor and that they don't have much manpower. But raising, getting infinite mana, easily overshadows them. If you can raise, you can do world conquest. And for the coring cost, first of all, it's very easy to form Yuan and eventually Mongol Empire, so it will be covered by those ideas. And second of all, raising severely reduces the coring cost. So why did I highlight this horde? Oh, I think it's just the second most powerful, I guess, in the game. But for the best horde, let's go to the position number 3. And for the position number 3, we have the best horde in the game, Oirat. Oirat still has the ability to raise, so almost infinite mana. As you can see, we are at the same level as Europeans. Just because we have so much mana, it's extremely easy to keep up. We also have a lot of ideas, 2000 of core development in 1536, and most importantly, we can form Yuan. So now let's go rubric per rubric. Boredom. Is Oirat boring? Yes, it is boring. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Oirat is pretty boring. It is possible to get out of turns to heathens, so it is possible to not deal with a lot of rebels, but still, compared to someone like Austria or Ottomans, you will need to deal with rebels. You will also need to conquer provinces manually, you don't have any vessels. Now, for resources. As I've said, Oirat has a lot of resources. It can be pretty rich if you're fast enough. It's really easy to conquer whole China. It's really easy to stop your trade. Well, not really easy, but it's possible. Have a lot of manpower, etc. The biggest advantage of Oirat over others is that Oirat is the only nation that can cripple Min almost immediately, like in 1444. That's the rare nation that can do it. First war with Min and you already have half of China. And only around 30 years you will have all China. That's also because of raiding. You can take much more provinces if you raise. And now, so once we form Great Yuan, we get absolutely insane ideas. First of all, if you destroy Mandate of Heaven, you're still a horde. Second of all, you get manpower, carrier compatibility, carrying capacity, core creation cost, technology cost, shock damage, administrative efficiency, goods produced, and all of that as one nation. Take a look at our coring cost, for example. I didn't even stack it, it's just natural. Naturally get minus 50%, and I can raise provinces, so it's even less actually. And of course, Yuan gets pretty insane mission tree, with pretty insane bonuses, if you ask me. Like province wars core cost reduction, gardening capacity. I'm pretty sure there was some core creation cost, but I'm not sure about this. So yes, it's not the easiest nation to do world conquest as in you need some skill, but it's the fastest nation you could do world conquest as, only because of raising. Raising is that good. Once you raise, you can easily do world conquest. Overall, a pretty solid choice, especially if you're an experienced player. I'm pretty sure almost all speedruns of world conquest are done as Oirat. You have seen everything. You have seen all the best world conquest nations in this video. What could be even better? Shogunate. The first two positions are both shoguns, but different ones. So, this is a Chinese shogun strat. It's not Ashikaga, it's much better. Here we go. If you thought HRE Vessel Swarm is big, look here. This is what I call Vessel Swarm. This is what I love. Look at those numbers, baby. So why is Shogunate better than HRE or Ottomans? HRE only can add European vessels. Geographically European, so Anatolia included, but only European. Shogunate doesn't have such a limit. You can add anyone to your Vessel Swarm. Just release any nation. Just go, release any nation, and it will be your vessel, like this. Here we go. You can have unlimited amount of vessels. And of course, unlike Ottomans, the vessels will fight for you. They're not passive, they're not anything. They will fight for you automatically. Now, let's talk about three things. Boredom. None, zero boredom. Just look at this. Want to declare war? Fine, let's go. So I can just pit 5, take a walk, touch some grass, enjoy life, play U5, whatever. World Conquest will be done. World Conquest will be done. Even it will be done. The only problem is that Shogunate has very bad performance issues, basically, because you can release much more vessels than HRE. Resources. That's why I'm talking about Chinese Shogun and not Ashikaga. As a Chinese Shogun, you get... Okay, that's a little bit obscure strat. I will once again link a video. But you can get up to 40k of ducats. You can get whole China for free. So you will be able to easily conquer Japan. And overall, you would start as #1 great power right from the beginning. It's a little known exploit actually, I'm not sure if it's even exploit, but you can release and buff a Chinese releasable. Alternatively, if you don't like exploits, it's also possible to just start Ashikaga, but it's a little bit slower. Not even a little bit, it's much slower. You won't get a whole of Asia as your vessels by 547. Alright, so you've seen everything, right? How the hell is it possible for any nation to be even stronger than this? Pretty easy, my friends. So here it is. The only nation that makes world conquest easy. Like, you legitimately need to try, you legitimately need to put a lot of effort to not do a world conquest as Majapahit. Look at this and look at this date. This is the easiest world conquest nation. If you just want to do world conquest, play as Shogun Majapahit. I think I should go a little bit in details before explaining why it's the first place. Why Shogun Majapahit? How is it so strong? So, here, take a look. Shogunate allows you to have an unlimited amount of vessels that have independent liberty desire. So kind of like HRE, right? They're independent, they fight for you. The only difference is that, of course, they can attack each other, but it doesn't matter. So, usually, what happens with Shogunate is that you go to diplomacy, click here and release a daimyos. That's how you expand your daimyo vessel swarm. right? You conquer some provinces, you release a daimyo, feed some provinces, and you have a new shiny vessel. The disadvantage is that it's a little bit slow, you need to find a good daimyos to feed, you still need to fabricate claims somehow on other nations, right? You can't use, by the way, claims of your daimyos when declaring wars, so it doesn't work like that. So say, if I want to claim Poland, right, I can't use claims of Lithuania, right? It's impossible. That's the big problem. How does Majapahit solve the problem? So this mission branch right here, if we scroll down, gives us Majapahit campaign CB. At first only in Indonesia and Southeast Asia, right? But once we conquer them, we get the same with China, and once we conquer Indochina and Burma, we get subjugate the mainland, which enables Majapahit campaigns CB on all countries. What is Majapahit CB? So first of all, once you finish the last mission, you can declare on any nation. It's like imperialism. Second of all, you can make any, I repeat, any nation a vassal, no matter their size. They can be as big as you want. You don't need to release anyone, you just declare a war and make them your vassal. That's how I have, for instance, Egypt as vassal, Ottomans as vassal, France as vassal, Spain as vassal, Austria as vassal. Usually they would be too big to vassalize, right? But as a Majapahit, we can vassalize them in just one war. As a result, just look at this. Yes, this is officially the most brain-dead way to do world. Seriously, you somehow need to sabotage yourself to not be able to do world conquest here. It's only 1586 and they have all Africa, all Asia and half of Europe. I'm literally almost at world conquest. So now let's compare to other criteria that I have here. So, is this world conquest boring? Maybe. The only boring thing about this world conquest is that you can just you know, declare war on everyone, go take a nap, I don't know, just relax. The game will play itself. No rebels, no micro, no economic development. Look at this, I get all my income from vassals, unironically. Nothing, you just chill. So, resources, unlimited. You don't need armies. You literally don't need armies, you just declare war and vassals do everything for you. Foreign cost, 0, none, you don't need to core anything. You just vassalize people. That's it. There is no coring cost. You don't conquer anything. Overall, I know usually people say, oh, it's Austria, oh, it's Oirat that's the best. No, Majapahit Shogun is the best. The hardest part is becoming Shogun as Majapahit. I'll put a link right here in this corner. There is a strat for this. It's pretty easy actually. But once you become a Shogun, that's it. That's it. Done. The world is done. Legitimately, you could give it to Toddler and he would win the EU4. In any case, that was my top 10 of best nations for world conquest. I hope you found it useful. I hope you do one last world conquest before EU5 drops in November. I hope you'll have fun with EU5, and I hope you remember EU4 fondly and with a smile. I loved EU4, and I certainly hope you will love EU5. You won't be able to do this in EU5 for at least like 5 years or so. We need to get at least 20 DLCs for this. In any case, I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Have a good day.